Good morning, grade 7 students. In this session, we're going to make a quick revision about the green plants. Green plants, as we said before, they are the plants that contain the green pigment, which is the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the pigment that absorbs the sunlight. We said that the green plants, they need four important elements. They need water, they need mineral salts, which are sometimes supplied by fertilizers. As you know that fertilizers, they are a good source of fertilizer. They supply the plants with mineral salts, the fertilizers, so you have to pay attention to this. Carbon dioxide, CO2, and light. So they need four important elements. They need water, they need mineral salts, they need carbon dioxide, and they need sunlight in order to grow well. Also, we identified in this experiment the importance of the roots, and to be more specific, the root hairs. We said that the root hairs, they are responsible for absorption of water, and we said that we have two parts of the root cap and the root hairs. We used this experiment where in tube 1 and tube 2, both of them, they contain a plant that is dipped in oil and water. Here, the root hair and the root cap, both of them, they are dipped in water, so the plant grows normally. However, in plant 2, the root hairs, they are dipped in oil, while the root cap in water, it withers and dies. This means that the root hairs and not the root cap, they are responsible for the absorption of water. So the root hairs, the part of the roots, is responsible for the absorption of water. So analysis always will start after dipping the root hairs and the root cap in water, the green plant grows. While after dipping the root hairs in oil and the root cap in water, the green plant it withers and dies. So in conclusion, which it should be in general, the root hairs and the root, they are responsible for the absorption of water in green plants. Also, we talked about transpiration. We said that the plant it absorbs water at the level of the roots. This water is going to travel up through the plant to the stem and then to the leaves, where water vapor is lost from the leaf pores through transpiration. These small openings on the underside of the leaf, we call them stomata. So here, definition of transpiration, we said that transpiration, it's the loss of water vapor through some plant organs. What are these organs? They are the leaf. Let's check. In this experiment, we have two plants, plant A and plant B, where plant A contains leaves, while plant B it lacks leaves. So this is the variable factor between plants A and B. Plant A has leaves, plant B it lacks the leaves. So water droplets are formed on the inner wall of the plastic bag covering plant A, while no water droplets are formed on the inner walls of the plastic bag covering plant B. So here, let's continue with the major difference, which is the variable factor. Remember when we said pose the problem in the form of question, aim or objective or purpose. Why do we do this experiment? So you have to pay attention for this. So the major difference between the plants A and B is that plant A it contains leaves, while plant B it lacks leaves. In which a plastic bag is water vapor formed is formed in the plastic bag of plant A that has leaves. Which part of the plant responsible for transpiration? It's the leaves. So here, through transpiration, green plants they release water vapor from where? From their leaves. So you have to keep in mind that during the whenever we talk about chlorophyll plants, they are the green plants and they are called the autotrophs. However, the non-green plants, they are called the heterotrophs or the non-chlorophyllic plants. During photosynthesis, what do the plants do? During photosynthesis, the plants they produce their own food, and photosynthesis it occurs mainly during day. Why? Because it needs sunlight. So what is photosynthesis? It's the process by which chlorophyllic plants they produce their own food by the process of photosynthesis. They produce organic food. This organic food we call it them as sugar, which is stored in the form of starch. We're going to talk about this in the coming slides. And they produce this from inorganic matter, from water and mineral salts as well. So this is the definition of photosynthesis. It's the process by which the green plants, chlorophyll plants, they produce their own organic matter from inorganic matter. So here in this experiment, we placed two leaves, one that is placed in light and the other in darkness. We took each leaf from each plant and we boiled them in water. So boiling water, it kills the leaf. So boiling water kills the leaf. This is the most important note about the boiling water. And second, we dip each leaf in a tube of warm alcohol. This warm alcohol is used to remove the green color of the leaf while keeping the tubes in boiling water. Then we soften the leaves by dipping them in water. So we add few drops of iodine to each leaf. We observe the color of each leaf. Why do we do iodine test? Iodine test is done to identify the presence of starch. So why do we do the iodine test? To test for starch. If we have starch, we will have blue black or it's called dark blue color is obtained. If we have starch, we have dark blue color. Why? If there is no starch, there is no dark blue color. So here, this is the objective of the iodine test. This is the aim of iodine test. Iodine test is done to identify the presence of starch. If it gets dark blue color, so it is a containing starch. If there is no dark blue, meaning that there is no starch. Okay, so this is about the iodine test. Already we know about it. Next, we're going to talk about the other than the iodine test, we're going to talk about the different tests that we do it. For example, the Lyme water test. Why do we do it? In order to test for the presence of the carbon dioxide. Lyme water test. Remember this. Lyme water test. In the presence of carbon dioxide, Lyme water it becomes turbid. While in the absence of carbon dioxide, the Lyme water it becomes clear. So this is related to the photosynthesis, related to the carbon dioxide. As I said, lime water, if in the presence of carbon dioxide, it becomes turbid. No carbon dioxide, it stays clear, or there is no change in the color. Let's continue with the plant. It makes its own food by the process of photosynthesis. Photo, it means light. Synthesis, putting together. So putting something together. Let's see what putting what. So you know that the chlorophyllic plants, they contain the chlorophyll. So the chlorophyll, it traps the energy from the sunlight. So we need sunlight. This sunlight is needed for the process of photosynthesis. So this photosynthesis is very important. So it occurs in the leaves of the plant. It combines what? It needs to mix. This is the synthesis. It mixes carbon dioxide plus water. These are the reactants in the photosynthesis reaction. Carbon dioxide plus water. They mix that together to make sugar and to produce oxygen, which are called the products. So here, these are the two products for this carbon dioxide and the carbon dioxide and the water. They are the reactants, while sugar and oxygen it's considered as the products. So here, this is the reactants and the products of the photosynthesis reaction. As we said, photosynthesis, it is occurring by the help of the light. Light will be trapped by the chlorophyll, which is the pigment that makes the plant green. energy from the sun. It starts the food making process. The leaves, they take in carbon dioxide from the air, and the roots, they take in water. So carbon dioxide and water, they are mixed together, which is by the help of the sunlight to make sugar. Also, oxygen is considered as a waste product in the photosynthesis process. And also you have to know that the photosynthesis, it takes place in light. So sugar produced is turned into many plants and is turned into starch, which is stored for later use. That's why we have a dark blue color with the iodine test. Why? Because we have the sugar. This sugar will be transformed into starch and it will be stored in the plant as a starch for later use. Now let's move to this experiment talking about the importance of sunlight. Here in this experiment, we have what? We have a leaf that is left in sunlight. This plant is left in sunlight for 2 hours. Then we test for starch. Here we covered part of the plant by a black paper. What does this mean? This means that sunlight doesn't reach this region. And after 2 hours, we did iodine test. We test for starch. So we did which test? Iodine test. So this test is done to identify the presence of starch. If it gives a dark blue, this means that we have starch. If it doesn't give a dark blue, it gives yellow or brown, orange, whatever these three colors, yellow, orange, or brown, this means that there is no photosynthesis. So here, if I want to do analyze, pay attention here to know the difference between analyze and interpret. Pay attention to this difference between analyze and interpret. If I want to do analyze, what do you have to do? After leaving the leaf in sunlight for 2 hours and covering a part of it by a black cover, 2 hours later, we tested for starch. The part that was exposed to sunlight, it shows dark blue color, while the part that was covered by the black paper, it shows a yellow color. So this is the analyze. This is the analysis. Yes, Adnan.
Sorry for coming late. My net was very bad. I
No
couldn't
problem. No
it
problem, Adnan. It's
couldn't
okay.
open the live.
That's okay. No problem. Yeah, but continue with us now. No problem. So here, if I want to do the analyze, first of all, pay attention. I have to do the analyze. I will start with after. After placing a leaf in sunlight, the green plant or the green leaf in sunlight, and covering a part of it with a black paper. Then, after 2 hours, we tested for starch. Only the plant, the part that was exposed to sunlight, it shows dark blue color. However, the part that was covered by the black paper, it shows yellow color. This is the analysis. I did analyze right now. I did the analyze. So this is analyze. I'm going to repeat it and pay attention to this, please. Analyze, you can say, after placing the green leaf in sunlight for 2 hours and covering the black paper, using a black paper, covering the part of the plant by black paper. After 2 hours, we did iodine test. Only the part that was exposed to sunlight, it shows dark blue color, while the part that was covered by the black paper, it shows yellow color. This is interpret? No, it's only analyze. Now, I want to move to interpret. What is the difference between analyze and interpret? Interpret, it's analyze plus indication. So you have to add indication. And this indication is specific for the experiment. So here we continue with this. Interpret the or analyze the interpret, analyze plus indication. So let's start with the analyze. So you said after putting a leaf in sunlight for 2 hours and covering a part of it by a black paper. After 2 hours, we tested for starch. Only the part that was exposed to sunlight, it shows dark blue color, while the part that was covered by the black paper, it shows yellow color. Here I finished the analyze. Interpret. This indicates that starch was produced in the part exposed to sunlight, while it's not produced in the part that was covered by the black paper. This is the difference between analyze and interpret. In interpret, I have to add indication. If I ask for conclusion, what can you conclude? Conclusion should be in general. So conclusion here, light is important for the photosynthesis process. This is the conclusion here. Okay, let's continue. This is the word equation of the photosynthesis. Why do we call it word? Word equation because it's composed of word. So here, carbon dioxide, I can't write it CO2. Why? Because it's word equation. If I ask for the word equation, you can't write carbon dioxide as CO2. You have to write it carbon dioxide plus water. It gives what? It gives sugar and oxygen, but we have to put light energy. If we didn't put the light energy, it would be wrong. So what are the reactants in this reaction? Always the reactants, they are before the arrow. Before the arrow here. So these are the reactants. If I ask you, write the equation of the photosynthesis reaction, you have to write carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of light energy. We write it above the arrow, gives sugar plus oxygen. So this sugar and oxygen, they are called the products. So if I told you specify the reactants and the products, you have to say the reactants are carbon dioxide and water, and the products they are sugar plus oxygen. So these are the reactants and the products. In this question, this is the quiz that we did it before, green plants and carbon dioxide. In this experiment, we have two medium rich in carbon dioxide and medium poor. So what is the variable factor? It's the carbon dioxide. Water rich in fertilizers. What does the fertilizer provide the plant with? It provides them with mineral salts. So you have to pay attention to this. And then what do we have? We have that fill the table, copy and complete the table. Sure, the table should be copied using a pencil, and you have to fill it using a pen. You have to give it a title, and also you have to give it the legend. Plus means present, and minus means absence. All of them, they contain mineral salts and water. All of them, they contain light. CO2 is present in plant A, absent in plant B. Here, normal graph, or grow normally, the same, normal graph. And in plant B, it weathers and dies. You can say abnormal graph if you want. Abnormal graph. Yeah, not normal graph. Abnormal graph. Indicate the variable factor. What is the difference? The difference is the CO2, the variable factor. What is the objective of this experiment? Is done to study the importance of carbon dioxide for the graph of green plants. What is the role of KOH? KOH, potassium hydroxide, it's important for the absorption of carbon dioxide. Interpret. Let's do interpret together. Interpret, it's analyze plus indication. So after placing plant A in a medium that is rich in CO2, the plant it grows normally after 15 days. While after placing plant B in medium poor in carbon dioxide, it weathers and dies after 15 days. This is the analysis. Indication should be specific. This indicates that plants, they need carbon dioxide to grow. And to be more specific, you say young bean plants, they need carbon dioxide to grow. Conclusion, green plants, they need carbon dioxide to grow well. Moving this is the last week quiz, week 32. In week 32, we have this quiz. Observe the adjacent figure. What is the role of the iodine test? Already we know the iodine test is done to study the importance, to study the presence of starch. So if we have starch or not, place a geranium plant in sunlight for 24 hours. The plant has green leaf where it's partially covered by a black cover. We cover it by a black cover as shown here. Immerse the leaf in hot alcohol. What is the role of the hot alcohol? It removes the green color of the leaves. And then the results are shown in the adjacent figure B. Define chlorophyll plants. Most of you, what did they do in the quiz? They said chlorophyll plants are green plants. That's why they didn't get the full mark. You have to say chlorophyll plants, they are green plants that contain chlorophyll. Why do we dip the leaves in hot alcohol? To remove the green color. Interpret. What is interpret? Analyze plus indication. So interpret. After leaving the geranium plant in sunlight and covering a part of it by a black cover. After 2 hours or 2 minutes, we dip it in iodine solution. Only the part that was exposed to sunlight shows dark blue color, while the part that was covered by the black paper, it shows yellow color. This indicates what? This indicates that starch was produced in the part exposed to sunlight, while it's not produced in the part that was covered by the black paper. If I ask for a conclusion, we conclude that light is important for photosynthesis. Let's move here to, let's revise together for the graph. Remember that always and always and always, whenever we have a graph, always I have to do like this. Here, the X and the Y for sure. And be sure, I send you a message in the group. Be sure you have to use graph paper. Graph paper and only graph paper. You have graph paper from the beginning of the year, so you have to use it. Otherwise, I'm going to cancel the question. You have to use graph papers. So here, always the one is found up in the table should be down on the x-axis. So here, time in days. And the one is found down in the table, here below, length of the plant in centimeter, it should be up here. Length, up, plant in centimeter. So always I have to do like this. Always the one is found up will be down in the graph. And the one is found down in the graph should be up. Down in the table should be up in the graph. Here, they gave you a scale. I gave you here a scale. On the x-axis, 1 centimeter, it's for 2 days. So I have to follow this scale. And 1 centimeter is for 3 days. I have to follow. Let's draw the graph together. Sure, the graph should be done on graph paper. Okay, we don't have graph paper, so I'm going to draw it like this. And here, the 0. Give the title for the axis. First, let's do the scale. They said every 1 centimeter 2, so you have to move 2, 4, 6, 8. This is 2. This is 4. Sure, they should be equal. Moving 1 boxes in the graph paper. 8, 10, and 12. Okay, I finished here. What I have to do? I have to erase this extra. I have to erase the extra. I undo this. I have to erase the extra one. Okay, so here I have to erase the extra. I have to cancel them. I have to move from here. So here it's the time in days. Okay, you can use time in days. This is the first step. Second, on the y-axis, they gave you a scale. On the y-axis, every 1 centimeter, 3 centimeters. So 3. Then you move for 6. Then you move for 9. Then you move not for 14. We are moving 3 by 3. So 9. Then you move for 12. Then 15. Then 18. Then 21. Pay attention to this mistake. Always you do this. Some of you, they did this in the last time. So 9, you are moving 3. 3 times 1, 3. 3 times 2, 6. 3 times 3, 9. 3 times 4, it's 12 and not 14. We can't move 9 and then 14 and then 18. No, it's wrong. It's totally wrong. So you have to move 3 by 3. Then I'm going to put the numbers, for example, here. But let's continue to write the title. Title here, length of plant in centimeter. Okay, length of plant in centimeter. And then let's continue. What do you have to do? Before I do the graph, give it the title. Before I do it, give the title and the scale. Title, graph, showing, always show, graph, showing the variation. Always the title will be like this. Graph, showing the variation of what? Of the one that is on the y-axis. Where is the y-axis? The vertical one. So the variation of the length of the plant, variation of the length of the plant as a function of the x-axis. As a function, which one on the x-axis? Time in days. As a function of time in days. There, I forgot to put in centimeter. Length of the plant in centimeter as a function of time in days. Here is the title. And choose one of the boxes on the corner of the graph paper. You have one box. So this is the box of the graph paper. You can choose like this and like this. You can highlight them. This is the box. So here, every 1 centimeter on the x-axis, it's 2. 2 what? Not 2 centimeter. It's 2 days. So 2 days. And on the y-axis, every 1 centimeter, it's 3 centimeters. Here, I finished the title and the scale. And I prefer to do it first before you start to do the graph. Because if you do it first, this will help you a lot and you will not forget this. This is the title, the scale. I use the scale given. If they didn't give me the scale, can I choose one? Yes, but you have to mention. Okay, so let's start. When the time was 2, the length was 3. So 2, it was 3. When it's 4, it was 6. When it was 6, it was 9. So here 6, it was 9. When it was 8, it was 14. Where's 14? It's before 15. This is 14. So when it was 8, it was 14. Here it's 8, it's 14. Whenever it's 10, it's 18. 10, it's 18. And 12, it's 21. So this is the graph. I have to connect it using my hand and not using the ruler. Connect it using your hand, using a pencil for sure, but it should be like this. So this is the title, this is the scale, I did the graph, and here I get full mark, 100%, 100% correct. Pay attention to this. Don't forget the title, don't forget the scale, don't forget to put the title for the axis here, and don't forget to write the title using a pen and the legend also using a pen. Only the graph is drawn using a pencil. Otherwise, all of them should be using a pen. Only the graph or figures should be in pencil. So always, I repeat, the one is found above in the table should be below on the x-axis. This is the x-axis. And the one above is the y-axis. You took this in math, I think. So this is the x-axis, and this one is the y-axis. Okay? Here always the one is found up will be down in the graph and so on. Let's start. Let's do analysis for this. If I want to analyze this, the graph, how do I analyze this? Analysis of the graph, I have to start with the first point. First point, it was 2. So at time 2 days, the length of the plant was 3 centimeters. Did you realize here? I'm using the units. When the time was 2 days, the length of the plant was 3 centimeters. As the time increases from 2 to 12 days, what happens for the length of the plant? The length of the plant increases from 3 to 21. I'm not going to say as time increases from 2 to 4, the length of plant increases from 3 to 6. And then from 4 to 6, the length of plant increases from 6 to 9. No, immediate jump. From 2 to 12, the length of the plant increases from 3 to 21 centimeters. This is the analysis here. So here, about the graph, pay attention. You will have a graph in this quiz.